Back again for another Blitz breakdown, creeping up on episode 200. We are here to preview.
Where are we at now? What number are we at?
I think 194, 193, 194. Might have to squeeze some. We could definitely squeeze that many in to get it to the Super Bowl, but yeah, I think our very first episode 1 was the Super Bowl recap of what, 3 or 4 years ago now. I can't even remember. Too long. Too sick all week. Luckily, no COVID. Three tests have come back saying I do not have COVID. So I am alive. I am kicking. Asher Moore, how are you feeling today, sir? I miss you, man.
I'm doing much better than you've been, it sounds like. Yeah, cheers. I had a swell Sunday, and it's kind of bled over until, like, Wednesday.
Yeah.
And here we are on Friday, and, like, now I'm like, okay, I should probably move on to the Bengals. But, man, this last game was so much fun. Just that. You couldn't have asked for anything more.
That was the greatest game I've ever seen. Hands down, no questions asked. That was the best game I've ever seen. And it sucked because I was so drunk off of my ass, walloping in my own misery of the Bucs loss, potential loss of Tom Brady, like the end of 2-year era that it was with the TB12 in TB. So I was hammered drunk. But I rewatched it a second time the next day too, and it was, man, that was 13 seconds. I mean, how can you... 13 seconds. I officially will never doubt, I will never bet against Patrick Mahomes, and the few times I will be wrong, I will have no problem with it, because that man will do things that we've never seen before for the next 10 plus years in the NFL. And now it's normal.
Yeah, I mean, and as I was kind of saying going into last week, I mean, it's playoff Pat. This is just what he does. Like, he is the closest thing we have to Michael Jordan in my eyes in terms of just he is the ultimate competitor, that he will put the team on his back if need be to get them to the finish line. And, I mean, he's been doing this since college. He didn't really have, the big signature wins, but like the bigger the opponent and the bigger the stage, the guy just shows up, and he's solidified himself as the guy.
Yeah. And
he just beats them time and time again off of these new competitors, these new Manning versus Brady comparisons. It goes from Mahomes versus Allen. Now it's Mahomes versus Burrow. Then it was Mahomes versus Herbert. And they just keep kind of moving the goal lines, and the constant throughout is Patrick Mahomes just being the heavyweight champion. And we're going to see a lot of people do their best to knock him off, but at the end of the day, the champ is here, and it's going to be hard to beat them anytime that you go to Arrowhead, and I think we're going to see something similar with the Bengals.
I've never even put it into that perspective. He really is, like, not only is he like the current, you can't call him GOAT, but you would say he's like the greatest we've ever seen, right? Well, yeah. He's it's going to be hard, buddy, after Brady beat him last year, but he's got a long career ahead of him, and so he could still make up for that. 4 straight AFC championships as a starter is a hell of a way to start it off and get a career going, but GOAT is going to be hard. But the way you put it like that, almost like a heavyweight champion of the world right now, he really is like the pound for pound best in the world. This is like something you would see from like Anderson Silva or John Jones or like
Fedor.
Francis Ngannou. Yeah, like the Fedor, like this crazy run where you can't even fathom them not winning. Even though we just saw him not win the Super Bowl last year, like right now he's on this crazy stretch. Like that's why it was such a surprise last year, even though they were so banged up. Limped into the Super Bowl. Right now they're at full strength. I think you guys got Tyrann Mathieu back yesterday in practice.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
But no, so let me, really quick, these were some crazy stats that I meant to send you, but I was so sick this week that I couldn't. Like, there was stuff I should have just tagged you in, and I was like, oh, I'll save it for the pod. But, so, and I'm sure you've probably seen this. I think you've seen this. In games where he had in the playoffs at least, In games where Patrick Mahomes had a 5% chance or less of winning, he's 3-1. The rest of the in the history of the NFL, 1-38.
It's pretty good.
So in the worst times, so like when he is at his worst, when he is down X amount of points, that's when you bet on Patrick Mahomes. When it is basically impossible for him to come back and the odds are at the highest, that is when you have your best chance because he is literally like he's got a 75% chance of winning when it's basically zero. When he basically can't win, he has a 75% chance of winning.
The dude's electric. I
It's
mean, it even like it, when I watch the games with friends of like other teams, like they hate when it's 3rd and 10 plus. Like they would rather it be like 3rd and 8 or
mm-hmm.
3rd and 6 because for whatever reason, like he just pulls into his bag of tricks and does something that we've never seen before to convert, and he just keeps finding new ways to just blow people's minds, and it's been an absolute blast to keep up and watch and just be a part of all of this. And yeah, just enjoy it. That's all I can really get people to. That's all I can really request is don't let's not try to turn them into villains. Let's not try to turn them into what the Patriots were when they were going through their run. Like let's just enjoy this for what it is, and it's a Hall of Fame coach coaching a Hall of Fame quarterback, throwing to one of the greatest tight ends of all time, and on a Hall of Fame wide receiver. And it's a show. It's the greatest show on turf at this point, and I'm very excited to see this Sunday. I'm very excited to see next week. And I think it's the Chiefs versus the world. And here we go.
It's crazy how a year's worth of time has changed the narrative for everything, you know? And not only a year, like we were asking even what 8, 10, 12 weeks ago if Kansas City could you know,
Blow it up.
could yeah, is going to blow it up. You were talking about Andy Reid retiring mid-season, like all kinds of things, you know, this very you know, what is it? Overreaction Monday type of talk that we had when they were hitting this skid, when they were losing games that they shouldn't have lost to teams that they are 10 times better than. And Patrick Mahomes just didn't look like himself. But this isn't regular season Patrick Mahomes. This is the greatest of all time in the playoffs, at home at least. So at home, another one that I have. 7-1 at home in the postseason. Oh wait, sorry. And he is sorry. 7-1 home postseason, 23-1 touchdown to turnover ratio, touchdown to interception ratio, sorry, in home playoff games. And statistically, minus yards per attempt, he's number one in every fucking category.
That's pretty
Every
neat.
category. And on a per game basis, he is currently the greatest home playoff quarterback of all time. Better than Rodgers, better than Brady, better than everyone, and it's like not even close. Like by an extra touchdown, by an extra 50 yards a game, like it's insane. And he's only had 8 games, you know, at home. I think he's got a few more, but basically he's played almost every game. You know, you guys have been the 1 seed almost every time.
Right.
Um,
8 games in 4
but
years is pretty good.
it's nuts. It's nuts. Now, before we get into all of that, because I could have saved all those statistics for why I think you know Casey will or will not win this weekend. We had Black Monday. We did have you know the Bucks big loss. Uh, Before we get into the head coaching, I guess we can kind of touch base on what happened with the Rams and the Buccaneers.
Sure.
I think it basically to me it looked like the Super Bowl from last year. Just it was flipped. The tackles
Hmm.
couldn't hold up. We had backup tackles. We had backups to backup tackles in. Our starting left tackle, we pay $15.4 million a year to, couldn't fucking block to save his life in Donovan Smith. And without having Tristan Wirfs there, we lost this game because our GM did not solidify that offensive line like I talked about needed to be done in the
Hmm.
draft. Like I talked about needed to be done in free agency of just grabbing a swing tackle.
Yes.
They, you know, grabbed Robert Hainsley. that did not pan out. I said it was a shit pick to begin with, and it has proven to be a shit pick because he wasn't even good enough to even get on the field, I believe, at all this season. Um, I've just been very very disappointed. Kyle Trask, like if the Bucks were so arrogant this offseason that they thought they could afford to spend a pick on Kyle Trask.
High pick.
That's a high pick. A pick where other teams, a la, where you guys picked what right before that was the Creed Humphreys pick, right? Like,
I believe Nick Bolton was first, and then yeah, Creed
yeah,
Humphrey was a
and
few
then
plays later.
Creed Humphrey was the second, your guys' second round pick. It went right
Yeah,
before, right before. I mean, and
right.
look at that. He's a top five.
Yeah,
He's the best rookie offensive lineman this season. Top
still.
five rookie of the year, likely in terms of what he's done. But like I seen that, we had that. Blitzalytics had that like on paper. You can go
Hmm.
back and vet my scouting report on that man and what I thought or what we thought of him. Um, but yeah, so I think this definitely falls on the general management more than anything else. I don't know what else is worth talking about that game. Like the Bucks came back. I was a pessimist the entire game. Like this is over. This is over. This is over. Of course, Brady makes it a game. Um, and there were a few calls that definitely could have. Few things could have went the Bucks' way. The the smack in the mouth that stopped the drive. Like literally, the Bucks needed one thing to go their way to be going into this weekend.
Yeah,
One thing had to flip. Literally, like they had to just not. If Leonard Fournette didn't run in the end zone and he took a knee at the half-yard line, and then they drained that clock down, there was way too much, minute and a half left or whatever it was, just way too
yeah,
much time left.
for
Um,
Cooper.
for Cooper Cup at least. I mean, you look at it, I think it was something like that, 54 seconds, whatever it was. Too much damn time,
Yeah,
whatever it was. I mean, it wasn't 13 seconds, but it was too much damn
yeah,
time. And
right.
the Bucks definitely Todd Bowles misplayed that blitzing instead of playing prevent. That was a garbage, 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 garbage call. But he's on his way out likely. So is Brian Leftwich. It kills me. It pains me, and I do not know if Brady's going to be back. A week ago we talked about it, and it was like, oh yeah, gang, yeah, for sure, no questions asked. He's going to be back. Now
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know
there's
because
a
it
lot of
almost
contracts y'all got to resign.
yeah to be able to keep
Getting
this thing
boys back
together.
together at a discount's going to be difficult coming off a division round loss.
The re-signing of Vita Vea was huge, but now you have Chris Godwin, you have
Ryan Jensen.
Carlton Davis, you have Ryan Jensen. So those like, can we re-sign all four of those guys? And
Yeah,
does re-signing all four of those guys then make it possible to bring back Brady? Or does Brady look at this like, damn, I'm gonna have a new OC, I'm gonna have a new DC, this whole team's gonna be in a rebuilding phase. Like, do I want to go out
me and
with
Bruce.
less than a chance than I had this year? Because I really do
Right.
think, but I also think coming out of last year, I wasn't, realistically expecting 2 in 2 years. I was thinking, all right, I think we got a good chance at two Super Bowls in 3 years, or a two runs in 3 years. This year, I
Mm-hmm.
just didn't, especially with the way they started off the
Injuries.
injuries all season long. Like you didn't walk in week one into the Super Bowl with your week one roster. Like you were banged up from the minute the season started. That's why I do think there might be a slight, especially with the pander of Brady potentially retiring. I think he might get this extra little kick and nod into the MVP. I know they already voted, but it always seems like the playoffs have something to do with it. For
Yeah, it's
that
going to be interesting to
MVP.
see who wins the Coach of the Year now. Because I mean, I think Vrabel was the favorite, but getting slumped in your first game probably doesn't help.
I don't know how. I don't know how all of that's
Or
going to go,
LaFleur. I
but
mean, both it's the same case for both of them. But
if you're
yeah,
if you're
we'll see.
Brady, are you Brady? If you're Brady, are you going out or like what is your reasoning behind it? What is your like? If he literally
I
came out, he
think
said
I
it. He
think
said he's satisfied. So
yeah, and knowing Brady, he'll weasel this into saying it's for his family, but really, I think it's him just understanding that this team coming back would be a worse team than I've had this year. Because I mean, going into this year, you had all the Super Bowl teams, and you still had AB, and you still had cheaper players that didn't have the contracts that are going to go into the next year, which limits kind of the flexibility of how you can improve in different areas. Um, it's tough, man. It really is. Uh, and I think a big point, like you already mentioned, was the fact that he would be doing this with a new offensive coordinator, with a new defensive coordinator. And I genuinely, and I've been saying this kind of from the jump, I don't know how his and Arians' relationship really is in terms of like,
I
is
think it's
he
solid.
good? What's that?
I think it's solid.
Solid
I
enough to
think
be like one last ride with me and Bruce?
I think it's way better than how him and Belichick. I think it's the best coaching relationship he's ever had. I mean, it's
Yeah,
BA.
I
Like
think he's in a
it's
position
not
to
like BA is a
choose. That's
dick
what
or
I'm
like
saying.
hard to get along with. Like who doesn't want to, have Bruce Arians as your coach? And who's to say? I mean, that's the thing. This year is Garen, especially with Sean Payton leaving. This year is a guarantee at the at the
Division.
division. And then if Aaron Rodgers leaves, it's almost like
Yeah, the
how hard
conference
is
is
it?
up in the air.
The conference is up in the air. You've got the Rams for sure, but their cap strapped is like, are they going to be able
Yeah,
to keep everybody? Are they going to be able to pay OBJ? Is that a 1 year
right.
rental? Can we go get OBJ? Like, man, again, I wish AB would have effed up just a few weeks earlier out when OBJ was talking about trying to join the Bucks, and threw that shit out there.
Yeah,
Like, oh, things might have been a little. If we had
yeah.
Antonio
No,
Brown, with how close last week's game was, if we had Antonio Brown, even without an offensive line, I think we win that game.
that was the biggest thing that what I took away from it was it wasn't as yes the offensive line wasn't winning their battles like the Rams were winning the trenches, but I walked away thinking that he really could have used another receiver there.
Mm-hmm.
Like just Tyler Johnson isn't it? Scotty Miller's not that number two wide receiver they need.
No,
It's
he's a piece.
you could
He's
see it
a
was Brady just making things happen and like really leaning on Gronk, and then towards the end, Evans started to come alive.
but yeah,
But
but then
they
even
needed Brown.
they
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 needed
needed
AB.
Brown because Gronk was having to stay in and block or at least chip. And when you're chipping,
Hmm.
that means you're not going to get a whole lot of yards. You're not going to get down the field very fast. And even then, like he was having to get the ball out in under 2 seconds. I mean, that's the only reason why they didn't have 15 sacks on him. I mean, and he was under pressure every throw. That's how you know not like that's how you know Brady's going to have a bad day is just not being able to get the ball out or not being able to have at least
At
2 seconds,
least,
2.5 seconds in the pocket, which isn't a whole lot of time to begin with. But I don't know. I'm very very skeptical. Now I'm literally like just simulating Madden right now, like off seasons with this trying to play out what happens with the Bucks. I'll let you know Madden um, all of my Madden simulations have
apologies.
had it's been 90%. It's been 90% Niners Chiefs. Chiefs have won every time. So
Interesting.
That's what Madden's saying right now.
Hey, if
Anyways,
that's what the technology's saying, I can't
I don't
disagree with
trust
it.
that shit one bit. But um,
But yeah, no. In terms of Brady, I guess if we're talking like right now on January 28th, I would say it's more likely. Like here's the three options that are presented. He retires, he stays, he goes to another team. I would put him staying at the bottom of there.
you
I
think
think
so?
he
You
would.
think he would go to another team before?
I
So
think
I
he
don't think
reflects on the opportunity at hand, and I think Tampa Bay recognizes that we either have to rip the Band-Aid off and just go for it, or if Brady's not back, I don't know. But I mean, there's so much flux going in at
we could
all
have
the
said that
NFL right
we
now.
could have said that last year after the Super Bowl. I think the Bucks are going to have a easier offseason this year. It's an easier task to keep everybody this year with the cap going up than it was last year with the cap going down. And we
Mhm.
somehow were able to make magic work. And we literally just made a team friendly deal happen with Vita Vea. So who's to
Mhm.
say that Jason Light can't pull some great stuff? I mean, again, to like bitch at Jason Light for not doing as well in the draft this year when he literally has built this whole team for the draft. Like,
Right.
let me at least like put some context behind it. The man had a fucking the best offseason a GM possibly ever could, but spending more time during the playoffs and less time on prospects Definitely hurt the Bucks this last year, big fucking time. Um, but I don't know. It could happen. It's not like Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and this entire like a healthy this team healthy if we re-sign
Mhm.
everybody and bring them back isn't still arguably the favorite to come out of the NFC.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. And y'all have y'all's picks still, right? Like y'all have y'all's
Yeah,
first and
everything.
second.
Yeah, we still have everything right now. So it's not like even then, if Brady decides to call it up, there's no way the Bucks aren't going to be like, all right, well we were aggressive and went and grabbed Brady. Let's go be aggressive and go grab Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson. Like who knows? You know,
Right.
there's going to be a lot of teams. There is so many teams that need quarterbacks this year. Like it is crazy how a lot. I mean, a lot of teams need quarterbacks this year. So who freaking
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah. I mean, it'll develop. It'll develop as time goes on, and I'm sure as it gets closer, his sentiment will start to change towards, him really wanting to play till he's 45, like he's been saying for all these years. I think that aspect will probably bring him back. Um, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But I definitely think the NFC being where it looks like it's going to be definitely needs to be considered. I mean, and Tampa, yeah, you're right. Tampa Bay should absolutely still be considered the favorite of that division. And depending on what happens with the Rams, I mean, 49ers look like they're on the path they want to be on. We'll see what happens with the Packers. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot still to unfold.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Uh,
I look at it now, and now I'm a little skeptical. The Bucks only have going into this season 11 million in cap space right now, and that's without Ryan
yeah,
Jensen signed. That's without um,
Godwin.
Carlton Davis, Godwin. Yeah, the Bucks are. Yeah, they're fucked.
But I mean, yeah, but you still have good young talent.
We
Like,
still. Oh, we have a solid roster.
right.
Like,
The Levante David contract's probably going to hurt in
yeah,
terms
the
of just
four
continue to build.
almost 15 million, but that's a debt that would be dead money, so that's guaranteed. Like, and there's no way he's the heart and soul of our defense. Like it's
Right,
night
right.
and day. Our run defense with him and without him, even with David in there or with Devin White is a different
Mhm.
story. So yeah, it's gonna be hard. I see them probably they're probably gonna have to move on from quite a few guys, and I would look at like Ndamukong Suh being one of them at like the 6.8. If Gronk doesn't come back, there's 5. If Brady doesn't come back, then there's another 20. Like there's a lot they can do, but holy fuck, if we go in
Yeah.
with Kyle Trask next year, just Bucks just like I said yesterday, we never deserved Tom Brady to begin with, and that's how I'm going to continue to have to look at this is we were not good enough for Brady. We dated way above our league. Like way above our league. Like we were I mean, we were dating a gold digger. We were dating a ring chaser. And that's what happened and now, we left. They're going to leave. So, we'll see.
What
But
about, and yeah, we can go into the off-season aspects in these next few weeks, but
we're going to
yeah,
have a whole off season to break that stuff down.
it'll be interesting. But in terms of, walking away from the Rams game, how do you feel about them going forward? I mean, they're going against their division rival who they haven't beaten the past 6 matchups, including week 18 this year when they lost in overtime. Do you see, based on the team that you played this past Sunday, do you see them being able to get to the next level and pass their nemesis?
Man, it's crazy because when you look at it, I mean, on paper, 6 straight wins. Like a couple dominant wins. Some come from behind wins. Like there's every type of win. Like when they needed Jimmy G like showed up. Like and
It's it happened, man.
he's been a bad quarterback for the last like 6 8 weeks, and they're still winning. Like he did absolutely nothing against the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and like that defense ate them alive. And it's a divisional NFC West game, so it's not like it's gonna
Most
be
expensive game in history so far.
Yeah, no, well, shit,
I saw they're like
they're
$500 tickets for a parking
they're
pass.
trying to price Niners fans out of it. Like it's ridiculous. I don't know if you've seen all that, but literally right off the bat, they were this big public announcement from like the Rams website of like do not sell your tickets to like second party or third party. Like do not do it. Do not let Niners fans because they did. Niners fans basically that was a home game and that's been a home game since LA moved to LA because just
Yeah,
half
the
of LA
Rams are
doesn't
that's half
care.
LA's team.
Like Niners fans have faithful, LA fans have celebrity status. Like
Right,
that's basically all you're
right.
gonna get. So I don't know, man. Everything points to the Niners. Everything. Like, but it's football.
And
Can Kyle Shanahan do this 7 times in a row? Like, if you flipped a quarter, how many times is it gonna land on
right.
heads? Like, ask Josh Allen how many times. Yeah, all it takes is one time. I think this game is going to be a crazy physical NFC West matchup. I think the Niners have the advantage. I think that it is more likely that Matt Stafford comes back down to earth and throws an interception or two against the Niners defense because the Niners defense has basically like done it to him every time now this year. I think he's got 2 interceptions in both games, I believe. Um,
Hmm.
I think so. He's got more. I think he's got more turnovers against. Let me look at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the injury
Against
report because
against the
they didn't do
Niners.
practice last I looked.
I think everybody's healthy for. I think Noteboom is the only one that still didn't practice for the Rams. For the Niners, they're expected to have everybody back. Trent Williams is expected to play, so I think they're going to be good. But yeah,
And Whitworth's all right.
2 interceptions in both games. So like two of his worst performances this season have been against the Niners. I think they're gonna do it again, but something tells me like it's football and it's not gonna matter and the Rams are gonna win. I think it's just one of those games, man. You can only everything says this, so it's football math. It can't be.
Yeah,
Everything points to the Niners. The Niners are the big brother. The Niners have the better run game. They have the better all-around defense. Their offense, like I think they're going to win in the trenches. I think they're going to do everything. Something tells me Rams. So my pick is the Niners. The Niners are who I will be rooting for, but I think like my gut instinct tells me the Rams are not going to go down 7 times in a row to the 49ers.
that's just so insane in today's and like an upper tier team who I think everyone would consider the Rams at this point. Like they're one of the premier teams in the league, especially with how much they've gone all in this year with their trades and acquisitions. Uh, that someone just has their number like that,
Yeah.
especially like a division rival. Like that's crazy. But I don't know, man. Like I just kind of think of this just seems like what the NFL want. Like the NFL wants the Rams in the Super Bowl because it's their stadium and they want a good unveiling and they want the best showing that they can. So those forces that beat kind of make me feel a little antsy about the whole aspect of things. But I think we're going to see a lower score game that we have become it, it's going to be rough, man. I'm still not a believer in Stafford and being the championship guy. Weird enough, I guess we have to consider Jimmy G a championship guy, just if he just keeps
Ugh.
putting his teams in positions to win.
It
But
sounds
yeah, I
so
mean, here we
gross,
are.
but hey, you want to see a good one that I found on I found this one on Twitter.
What you
Um,
got?
the 4 quarterbacks right now in the NFL or that are left in the postseason are Mahomes, Stafford, Garoppolo, Burrow. Mahomes 8-2, Stafford 2-3, Garoppolo 4-1, Joe Burrow 2-0. Uh, Stafford or sorry, Mahomes has 3,100 yards. and 25 touchdowns. Stafford has 1476 and 8 touchdowns. This, I think, is the most impressive stat. Jimmy G has 730 yards and only 2 touchdowns. Joe Burrow already has 592 and 2 touchdowns. So literally, Jimmy G has only thrown 2 touchdowns in his entire postseason career. Has in 5 games only thrown 2 touchdowns. But when you look at it, like they've never needed him in the playoffs.
No,
You know,
no, he's as if Tim Tebow was still playing. He's
but
just keeps getting them wins somehow.
literally, this team could win with Tim Tebow. That's probably not too crazy of a statement right now. But Garoppolo's clutch in like big moments, man. I mean, they're here right now because of a few big throws he's made late in games.
He knows
And
how to get the ball into Robbie Gold's hands or
no,
feet, I
no
guess.
shit.
Like,
Oh
and
man,
I saw this when I was rewatching the games. Robbie Gold has never missed a postseason field goal.
gangster.
Like he's more vital to
Robbie
their.
G, baby.
To,
He's the real Robbie G.
Jimmy and Robbie G, dog, just
Yep.
over here leading them to Super Bowls. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
So
But
yeah, again, this is another. Those are another like more. Those are more stats. Like Jimmy Garoppolo's stats are kind of like this. How this game lines up. Like none of it makes sense. It doesn't make any sense. But this is what we've known to be true. So I don't know.
so you're going with the Niners.
I'm going with the Niners, but like realistically, if I had to make a bet right now, like I'm going, like my gut is literally telling me Rams. I'm saying Niners on paper, but I guess that's kind of a safety. Building myself a safety net. It's kind of full of shit. It's bullshit, but I'm just telling you how I feel right now, and
I appreciate
so
that.
I said it at the beginning of this year. The Niners would be in the NFC Championship. It's been a part of our bracket, which is literally the bracket's looking nice right now, son. I got the Niners. I got Cincy. You got Buffalo, or you've got Rams and Chiefs. So like, there's still anything can happen right now. But I'm pretty sure whoever if winner's gonna win, whoever gets it right on this round right now. If one of us sends 2 people to the Super Bowl, it's over.
Yeah, it's over.
And then I'm eating a taki chip or whatever those things are called.
Oh man, that's
I
gonna be a
actually
rough
look
day.
forward to that punishment. I'm not even tripping. I'm actually excited about it.
Good, me too.
I want to show how big of a what everybody else is. But
There you go. Can't wait for you to prove everybody else wrong. Um, I'm feeling it, man. I think I'm just gonna have to stick to my guns with what I bracketed out, and I think this is the Rams' year to make it to the championship at least. And I think it's a low-scoring game, and the 49ers defense keeps them in it, and Stafford makes his normal mistakes, but 7 in a row is just so hard to do.
I know, man.
Especially,
I can't.
especially on the at home.
I think if it wasn't for that statistic, I would say the Niners. I'd have faith in the Niners. But the fact that it's 7 in a row, like that just seems so impossible. Like,
That's
and
right.
no team, the Patriots don't beat their own team. Like unless it's, the Patriots beat the Jets 7 times in a row. That's the only time that ever happens, you know.
And the Chiefs have beaten the Broncos. I think it's 11 times in a row now.
Yeah, but that's the Chiefs. And that's Patrick Mahomes. Like it's not the Niners versus the Rams.
Obama was president last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's great. There's a whole thread that the Twitter runs with. It's great. That's my favorite.
Tag me in that. I need to see that. Man, I don't know. It's gonna be a hell of a game. It's gonna be. I think I'm going 20-17.
I was around there too.
I think it's gonna be 20-17. I'm saying 2017 San Francisco, knowing it's gonna be the other way around. But I'm sticking with my picks.
I'll go 24-18 Rams.
24-18. All right.
Yeah.
Where's that 18 going to come into play? A 2-point conversion? Or are you thinking there's going to be a safety?
4 field goals and a touchdown.
Four
And they
field.
go for
Okay,
two.
okay. 12 and a 7. All right, 4 field goals and a
Yeah.
touchdown. All right, I could see that. I could see
You know
this
what I
being a
mean? A lot
big,
of Robbie Gold. A
a
lot of
lot of
Robbie
Robbie
Gold.
Gold, some Matt Gay.
Yeah.
How was the boot? Did you see that, by the way? That Matt Gay was short on a 45-yarder.
Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't. Did he get hurt?
He just said he didn't have any. He had nothing behind his leg that day. Like he just had no power behind his leg. He doesn't know why. He said he felt fine. Everything. Pat McAfee talked about it. He's like, dude, there's just days. It just doesn't. Like this guy's got a boot. Like he hits 60 yarders. He's better at hitting 60 yarders, and he has a higher. I think he has a higher percentage over 55 than he does under 45. Like it's crazy. Like Matt Gay can boot
He just
him.
had a dead leg.
Yeah, and he came up short, and I was like, oh my! Every time that game, I was like, ah, oh, it's over. Oh my God! So you're saying there's a chance? Ah, oh, it's over. Oh my God! You're saying there's a chance?
That was.
And I literally drained my body, depleted my body, and drank myself into oblivion that day. And now I'm sick, and I've been sick all week paying for it. I haven't been sick in over a year and a half. It's been like 18 months or something since COVID. Original.
It's all the
COVID.
Bucks' fault.
It's my fault. Definitely my fault. But
well, at least you had a great game to watch at the end of afterwards.
Yeah,
and then
yeah. Amazing.
And now I think we're gonna see a similar team against the Bengals, and I think we're gonna be dealing with a revenge game. And I mean that's how the Chiefs have kind of laid it out for themselves. I mean they treated the Bills like it was a revenge game, and I've been actually pretty active. Well, I wouldn't say very active, but I've been involved with a lot of Bengals talk this week. I joined one of those spaces last night to like kind of listen in, and I tried to get called, but they wouldn't call me. They were scared. They knew it was coming. But I was just listening to kind of the discourse of what Bengals fans are feeling right now, and it is wild. But they are like fully convinced that Week 17 is going to happen again, and I'm just sitting here like. When has anyone ever said the Week 17 game plan is going to look similar to what they're going to do in the playoffs? Like you could just tell that there's such it's just amateurism. It's like not understanding that playoffs
fan
and
base, yes,
are completely different.
Like the fans aren't used to being there. Like kind of give them some
sure.
slack. It's like a Bucks. It's like a 2020 Bucks fan. I mean, just give us a little bit of slack. Like we didn't know what we were getting into. Like it's been a long time. Bengals fans
it
forgot.
reminds me of what happened last year with the Bills. Like that was the Bills' first kind of big fight.
Yeah.
And they were excited, and then tables were breaking everywhere, and everyone's like, "Yeah, Josh Allen's better than Patrick. Yeah, like he's who I want over him." And then they lose by double digits, and because it was at home, now it was on the road, Arrowhead. In the AFC Championship game, and they're going against the defending Super Bowl champions, and now they're going against a team that has even more to fight for and more things to prove. So I've been having fun kind of listening to them, but we're dealing with at this point was what I kind of came down to is when we're talking about playoff football, you have to essentially consider regular season matchups as exhibitions. I would say it's closer to an exhibition than what you're going to see in the Super Bowl or see in the conference championship, especially when we're talking about Andy Reid, who yearly comes up with something weird in the playoffs, just like, no one's seen this yet. Let's throw that in there just because I know you haven't prepared for it at all.
I can guarantee you there's a play on there that we've never charted. I guarantee it's going to happen.
Or this week is going to have something silly. Yeah. And who knows?
But,
like Patrick Mahomes might catch a touchdown type shit.
That defense, Cincinnati's defense all year has been so sneaky good that I don't know if they necessarily, from a strategic standpoint, need to switch it up or do a whole lot different. Obviously, they come up that's the thing though, is like their D line, their blitz schemes, their coverage schemes are extremely exotic. They're extremely well. Not hybrid, but they disguise it well. They do a lot of different shit. They throw everything. It's not like they're like the Cowboys playing a base defense, our guys versus your guys, like man on man or zone coverage. Like we're gonna play the same plays and you're gonna have to beat it. No, these guys throw all kinds of different stuff. That's what had Patrick Mahomes a little bit off in that game. Not like he had a bad game, but they got beat in a shootout. I mean, it was what, 34-31? Isn't that what it was?
last game.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I believe so. But yeah, I mean, the Chiefs got the ball 3 times in the second half and only scored three points. They won. The Bengals won. They had some help from the refs, but they won, and I can't take them away from that. And they're in the AFC Championship, and they deserve to be here because they have a very exciting quarterback who gets the ball to his weapons on the outside. But at the end of the day, the man's limited to about 45 yards in the air. Like he just that's his game. Is he does little pop shots and he does it down the sidelines and he drops it and he's got chemistry with Chase and he knows where he's going to be and where he needs to put it, and it's a very effective offense when it's hitting. And I just don't think they can. I think that was their haymaker. I think that was as good as the Bengals could look was Week 17, and they barely beat the Chiefs on. They didn't get the whole goal line snafu was. Mahomes didn't get the ball. He should have got the ball back with at least a minute, maybe even a minute 30. And we saw what he could do with even less than that. And I think it's just a few things go a different way from a coaching perspective. If Spagnuolo doesn't blitz 8 on 4th and 26, who knows what happens? Yeah. And I just find it a lot more difficult this week to be concerned than I was last. Like last week, I was giddy in terms like this is gonna be a heavyweight battle.
You guys should have lost that game. You had every right to lose that game last week. Josh Allen did enough to be better than Patrick Mahomes. He did. He did.
He took advantage of a Tyrann Mathieu-less defense after he went down in the first drive, and the secondary just didn't know what to do, especially with Gabriel Davis apparently.
That's what I'm worried though, is how banged up is Tyrann Mathieu? Like, because if he comes back out, it was what, an ankle?
Concussion can bang you up, but he was back by Wednesday.
What was it again? Concussion?
Concussion.
Oh, okay. All right, that's what it was. I was thinking an ankle. Who went down? Somebody went down that game with an ankle.
Fenton? No. Well, the only ones that's questionable right now are Matthew and Darrell Williams.
Yeah.
So Fenton's back.
Okay. I don't know. It would be the most Cinderella story of all Cinderella stories for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to go out and win it again. 266 yards, 3 touchdowns. There's no way. That's one of the greatest wide receiver performances of all time, and that's what it took, you know. Yeah. And on the other side, like, what is it? Yeah, I mean, Mahomes only had 259 yards, 2 touchdowns. There's no way that's going to be the same, you know, that's going to be on the same, like, it's just not going to happen. What's crazy to me though, you know what? We didn't really recap like all the games. We only went into the Bucks game and then we only went into the the KC game. But to talk a little bit about the Tennessee game,
please.
See that? Jeffrey Simmons? What did I say? 2 sacks? I think he had 2 sacks. He had a third one that got called back, not even because of their fault. It was the ref's fault. They got called back. But yeah, 9 sacks. I think it was 9 sacks overall on Joe Burrow? Oh my God. And he still won. That's what's nuts.
And I mentioned the sacks. 3 that had 8 sacks going into it, and they also got sacked. Harold Landry and Denico Autry. I think Landry had 2, Autry had 1.
Yeah, it was nuts. That offensive line got shredded completely. But then again, you guys sacked him 4 times last time too. And it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's unfazed. I'm so excited to see. But yeah, like that last game, Tyreek Hill had 6 catches for 40 yards. McCole Hardman had 53. You know, you had a touchdown from, you know, Travis Kelce only had 25. Like they played the perfect game against you guys last time and barely won by 3 points. I don't think
something that hasn't really been talked about that I do want to mention because I think it's going to be a crucial point of this game. Well, first off, Orlando Brown went down right before kickoff. Like surprisingly, he had a calf injury that popped up, and then they had to switch Joe Tooney over to left tackle, and then they had to get it back up to left guard. So one, you're going to have a different offensive line. They're going to have a full healthy offensive line, which is considerable. And then also the 2 running backs that were a part of the running game in the first game was Darrell Williams and Derek Gore.
Yeah.
And now we have a completely different beast at running back right now. Jerick McKinnon is Derek McKinnon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire are 1A and 1B right now, and it's beautiful. It has not been talked about at all. What were just I wrote down the stats.
I mean, you guys
Uh,
averaged like some crazy yards per carry in that game, though. So I mean, it's
yeah, Clyde
from
Clyde
Derek.
averaged like 8 yards a carry. Like
Well,
he's being used the way he needs to be used, which is not the key guy. It's using him out of the backfield. McKinnon had 78 yards and Clyde had 69 yards. And a lot of it was just like play action, boot, screen, throw, and just little flares and let them get out in space and do their thing. Like this is the Brian Westbrook role that I thought was going to be here the whole year. And they haven't unveiled it until the playoffs. So that's something that the Bengals are going to see that wasn't there before. Was one a good running game at this point because it was good against the Steelers too, and that was
it
when
was a good.
McKinnon
That's
was
what I
just
was saying. Is it was good against them in that game. Like that was the only production you guys technically really had. Like in that last game you guys played them. Williams had 14 carries, averaged 6.3. Derek Gore had 3 carries, averaged 12.3. And then Patrick Mahomes broke off a couple, 2 for 25 yards. Like that was your best. I mean, 6.7 yards per attempt, and that's coming from Kelsey and Hill too, having like nothing. But you guys can run the ball against them, so that definitely is going to be I think a focal point. Not to just run the ball, but make sure that it's not just a shootout.
involved.
Keep the ball out of Burrow's hands a little bit. Not play small ball, but play small ball and play complementary football. I think is what's going to happen. They're going to, but I won't be surprised if Zach Taylor doesn't have wrinkles and facets of his offense that he's been holding back on too. This is somebody that comes from, the
Better.
McVay coaching tree. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the coaches right now. Like you got Andy Reid, and then you got all these young fucks. Like all of
I
these young
love
guys, man. I
it.
know it's beautiful, and all of them have just their own offensive philosophies. Maybe Zach Taylor's is very similar to. I would say it
Yeah.
is, but it's never seemed like Zach
There's
Taylor
definitely
has
some
have.
wrinkles that they use.
But Zach Taylor is extremely pass happy in comparison to McVay, who is like predicated on running the ball, and like the offense is almost solely like driven out of the play action and running the ball, and Zach Taylor doesn't use that nearly as much, like
And then you have
almost to a
Shanahan,
fault.
who's run oriented but passes off of it.
Yeah,
So you got to kind of like the blending of all three of those
and then you have
philosophies.
this crazy pass
And then
happy
Andy Reid,
Andy Reid. Yeah, run the ball. Fuck that.
who does everything his own
Yeah,
way.
I'll do a shovel pass. I'm not running that shit.
Yeah.
But I don't.
It's gonna be fun. I will say this. I will say this. I think I like you want just safe money this week.
Over.
Bet Clyde Edwards-Helaire scores a touchdown. Think about that. This is the only time he's played them, and this is against Chase and Burrow. Like they're the LSU guys, but Clyde was just as big to that run
Oh damn!
as they were.
I like that. I like that.
You know what I
She's
mean?
just trying to
And
show up
Andy
the other
is all
LSU
about the
guy.
sentimental shit. Like I'm even thinking he scores 2 touchdowns,
Yeah.
just to kind of let him get his chance to. He's sentimental like that. He knows that everyone's talking about the LSU boys on the Bengals side, but Clyde has really gone swept under the rug up to this point, and he had a hell of a game last week. He looked really good. Like he looked quick, he looked explosive, more explosive than he has in a while. And I think he's going to be utilized in this offense very interestingly going forward because they're starting to treat the running back as just an offensive weapon piece and not as much as like that true running back zone read type running that they've been doing most of this year, which has been very frustrating. But we're seeing a different offense right now, and I think they're going to utilize. I think Bengals are obviously going to say we can't let Kelsey beat us, we can't let Tyreek beat us, and the Chiefs are going to be like, all right, we're going to take what you're giving us, and we're going to use these new weapons that we haven't used all year, and good luck. And then Burrow's going to do Burrow things on the other side, I'm sure. So it'll be fun.
Who is the more productive wide receiver in this game, Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase?
I mean, I think Hill gets more catches. And if Jamar Chase is going to succeed, they're going to be on those long scores or long passes.
I'm going Chase, but I think Tyreek Hill will make the impactful play in the late fourth quarter that changes the game.
Like the way that the Chiefs made sure Diggs wasn't what beat them this last week, because you saw a couple of brackets his way, which was nice. I think they're going to do something similar with Chase. Like, we will let Higgins have a big game against us, or Boyd have a big game against us, but we will not let Jamar Chase win on what he won on last week.
I don't know. That didn't pan out last week. Just because you guys won doesn't mean that was a good call, because look what happened with Gabriel Davis. He was fucking wide open. So it's like,
that was
if
our
you're
money.
if you're gonna do that, if
Trying
you're
to
gonna
make
do
things happen.
that, are you really slowing down their offense at all? It didn't seem like it was. I mean, it seemed like they were just taking advantage of what was given to them. And this team has more depth at the wide receiver position than the Bills do. So I'd be concerned if that was just going to be all right. We're going to roll this exact same thing as we did last year or last week, and hopefully it works, because I don't think it did work. I think it didn't work, but you won because it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and if I think you're going to see it a little bit different than last week again, because of just Matthew being there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's literally the one calling the whole defense out. I think you'll see a blending of it. You'll see, like, the whole game isn't going to be just shut down Chase. It's more so going to be like, look, if it's 3rd and 12, we're making sure he's not the one getting the ball.
Yeah. If they solely focus on that, I think the rest of the Bengals have a hell of a day. So that's all I'm going to say. But I will give it to you, without Tyrann Mathieu being out, a few of those, they were literally right at, like, most of those throws are right up the seam, right in Matthew's area. So I think that might have been a little bit different, but I don't know. I'm always against, like, the Rams didn't roll blanket cover. Like, the Rams didn't roll blanket coverage on Mike Evans.
Yeah,
and then it bit him in the ass. It bit him in the ass when they went they rolled coverage over to Scotty and played Mike Evans 1-on-1. So I could say all that, but all it takes is one person making a big play, and then it looks like a bad game plan or strategy. But I'm gonna say KC wins 38 30. 4. I'm gonna say they score a touchdown to win in the final, like, minute of the game. 38-34. That's what I'm going with.
What's the spread right now? It's like 7.5.
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw last. I think it's like 41-32. I think it's just around double digit lead. But yeah, man, I just think this is a Super Bowl championship, and they're just next up. Bengals are just next in line to get what they receive, and on to LA to we'll play some California team. I guess which one we'll see.
Spread
see how it unveils.
Spreads between 6.5 and 7.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go and say, damn, it does feel like they're gonna win by more than. I'm still gonna go. I think it's gonna be a close game. I don't trust your guys' defense at all. You guys have the worst defense out of anybody left in the playoffs, and it's like by a long shot. No offense.
You think the Bengals are that much better on defense than the Chiefs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, after watching some of their games and their highlights, like the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think I would maybe say they have the best defense. I mean, it's close between the Rams, Niners, and them. They're all right there.
I think they took advantage of a
sneaky good
banged up Henry and inept Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, says the person who said it was going to be a big Ryan Tannehill game. And
they shaped up to be. He just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, they did what I said they were going to do. They did.
He
They
didn't.
did a lot of play action and they incorporated Deontay Foreman, but they should have incorporated him more because Derrick Henry was clearly not Derrick Henry, and that's kind of what I thought was going to happen. But yeah, Tannehill just has to convert, and he's got to make a play if he wants to make it to the big game, and just Burrow made more big plays.
This is true.
And Jesse Bates is a hell of a ball player. Jesse Bates is out there just making plays.
Beast. Jesse Bates is a beast from Cincinnati. I think it's Cincinnati. Yeah, I literally liked him coming out. Yeah, I'm sticking with my guns. 38-34. I think it's still gonna be close, just because there's a little bit of defense on one side. There's no defense on little defense on the other. I don't know. I'm nervous. I don't know. That one, both of these games make me very, very nervous. I will definitely take the Niners +4 though. Give me the Niners +4.
Yeah.
And give me Cincy with 7. 6.5 scares me. 7.
You're taking both the dogs.
I'm taking the dogs.
Taking the favorites. So that works.
Good luck with that. I think you probably got the edge on me.
I do like them. I do like the Niners +4 though.
Yeah, tell me you don't. That's gonna be especially with how low school. That I do not know.
Oh, okay.
Future.
I'm gonna take the under, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is, I'm definitely taking the under. All right, let me see if I can pull it up. Current line is 45. 45.5. Definitely, I would take the under.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Cool.
All right.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it is. It is. Any coaching changes or hirings, firings throw you off on this?
I haven't seen anything pop up, so I don't think anything's happened while we've been talking. But I did see that Josh McCown is essentially the first finalist for the Texans job.
I know the Raiders have gone after him too and requested an interview.
The Raiders requested for him?
Would you rather not be Texans or Raiders?
If I'm McCown?
Both have their dysfunction. McCown or McDaniels?
Oh man. If I'm the Texans, I think it
you
makes
said
more
McDaniels.
sense.
Are you talking about McDaniels or McCown?
I'm talking about McCown.
Oh, I thought you said McDaniels. Maybe you did, or maybe I misheard you. I thought you were talking about Josh McDaniels. No, Josh McDaniels is apparently the front runner for Vegas.
Raiders?
Yeah, Raiders requested an interview with him. I think Brian Flores and Todd Bowles.
And the Harbaugh stuff has kind of quieted. I think Harbaugh would be a really good pick for the Raiders.
I don't know. I think that's too big.
I think he wants to do both, and they have an opening in both spots.
Oh, what, to be GM/coach?
Mm-hmm.
See, I just don't think that I don't think that his coaching style, like his college style, I don't know. It didn't work. It worked for the team from a success standpoint, but I think it alienated so many of the the people. I think they need to go. Definitely Josh McCown or Brian Flores is an A+ hire for
McDaniels or McCown.
I'm talking about the Raiders and that's silly. I think the Texans and McCown. Yeah, I'm talking about Josh McDaniels and the Raiders. I'm not talking about McCown. Fuck McCown. Okay. That is he could he be a good head coach? Yes. Could he be a shit head coach? Yes. I don't know. Yeah. It's hard. I don't like judging head coaching spots unless I know that they've been a head coach before, or I know them like personally as an OC or as a DC, where you've seen them like over the years with success. Like some of these new guys, some of the new hires, you never know how it's going to pan out. Like, what is it? Matt Eberflus?
Yeah. DC from Colts.
Yeah, that's a good, okay, they've had a good
defense. Smith,
yeah, they've had a good defense for a few years. I heard he had a great interview. I don't know him. I don't know much about, other than the Colts have had a solid defense, but they drafted a bunch of really good defenders, and, how much of that was him? So I don't know on that one. The Nathaniel Hackett, that one I understand at least. That one makes a ton of sense because that is solely putting all of your chips in, let's go get Aaron Rodgers. Like, who's the number one head coach on the market right now, or head coaching candidate on the market that would entice Rodgers to come play in Denver?
Yeah.
His current OC. And they're literally going to bring half that. They're going to bring half a Green Bay staff with them. That's why I think Green Bay is a trash team in a year if they
Yeah,
do
they're
not
losing
have
their.
Aaron.
Looks like they're losing their. I
No,
think it was
yeah, they're
quarterback
gonna
coach.
they're gonna lose everything. And if Rodgers goes, Devontae Adams is gone too. He ain't Josh. He ain't
I don't
throwing.
think so. I think they keep Devontae. I think they pay him.
They have to, but he ain't gonna want to. He's basically stated and come out pretty clear and said he only wants to play for two. He said it earlier this year. He only wants to play for two quarterbacks, Rodgers and Carr. Um, and then he basically said if Rodgers stays, I'll stay. If Rodgers goes, then I want to hit for you know.
We go somewhere warmer, I'm sure. I mean,
Some
Vegas would be nasty.
That would be nasty. That would be very nasty.
They could use them.
They desperately need him. That's like all they need this offseason is just a number one wide receiver. Like
Yeah.
you could fix that offensive line, even though like they got rid of half of that offensive line, even all those scrubs. I wouldn't say scrubs, but like John Simpson and Alex Leatherwood, like they held up. They did pretty damn good.
And is Incognito gonna? I mean, God, how much
They
longer can he
based from
go?
what I've been hearing, like Incognito's basically been a freaking sideline coach. I'm like,
Really?
how much do you want that crazy fuck influencing your young players? Like, get him the hell out of there. This is
Yeah, that
Vegas
was
we're
a good
talking
guy
about.
for sure.
But yeah, that would be a good one. But that one I understand. I'm looking at it right now. You've got Raiders, Dolphins, Texans, Giants, Saints, Vikings. I think that's it. I have no other choice. Yeah. So out of all of the,
Leftwich was saying that there was a lot of reports of Leftwich going to the Jaguars. It just was never official. Now, like it's even kind of being backtracked. It looks like some of the reporters are saying that it was never agreed to. I don't know, but the Jaguars should get Leftwich. I think that would be cool.
they should. I mean, it makes sense. He's literally going back to where he played. But does he want to go to that shit show? The
I
longer
mean,
the longer
you get the
Todd
first pick.
Bowles the longer Todd Bowles and Leftwich hold out, the better off one of them is to adopt this roster. And originally, I know Arians had said when I retire, like the goal is when I retire, Leftwich takes over. Like he had said that in a couple press conferences. Like he's going to be. He said, but I think it was a lot of like he's going to be a head coach, and hopefully one day I can just like hand him the keys to this thing. You know, when I'm ready to call it. So I think that's what I'm praying on as we get Leftwich or Bulls as a head coach next year.
Yeah,
Would
it
be
sounds like y'all might need Arians to just step away now so you can give it to him.
I mean, if TB goes, I think Bruce should go with him. But Bruce has already said he's staying. He's gonna coach, and I get that too. Like it almost would be kind of pussy shit to like, oh well, if he goes, I'll go. But if he stays, I'll stay. Like it's kind of like, you know, not showing faith in the rest of the team. I think that's kind of pussy shit.
It's a
That's
weird
what I'll say.
spot.
It is. So I get it, but would I rather him? Yeah, I'd rather in 2 years have Leftwich as a head coach or Todd Bowles as a head coach than have no Todd Bowles, no Brian Leftwich, no Tom Brady, no BA. Like then it looks back. You look back on it and you're like, fuck, we missed out.
Yeah.
Like again, Bucks have done a hell of a job at getting the best head coach on the market. Like every year they've hired a head coach. Has it panned out like dating back to like the Lovie Smith times? No. But like Lovie Smith was the number one head coach out there, and then BA was the number one head coach out there. Like we've at least been able to pull in solid guys. We could do it again. I'm just gonna go out and say it. I do think Vegas, with having Carr, the most tenured AFC quarterback in the NFL now, with with Big Ben retiring in the
Gross.
AFC. Nobody has had their job longer than Derek Carr at the quarterback position. I would go Rams, or sorry, I'd go Raiders, Dolphins. I go
In
Raiders,
terms of like
Dolphins, Raiders,
destinations,
Dolphins,
like the place.
Vikings, Texans, Giants, Saints. That's the spot I would go. Saints are the worst. They are like 40 million over the cap right now.
Yeah, Saints are in for a rough one, and I think it's funny that Sean Payton was just able to walk. Like I don't know, just something about the term "walk away" is funny to me. Just like I'm good. Like you know what, you don't have to pay me.
One
Like
year,
do your thing.
one
I'm
year
good.
without Drew Brees, and he's like, nope, I'm off, I'm out,
Like
I'm
that
out.
sucked.
Oh, this next, yeah, look at how bad this next year is. Like he's pulling a possible what Tom Brady's gonna do. Like there's no way I'm winning with this roster. I'm going. Like I just
I'm good.
let's just take that year off. I would laugh if he does take that year off, want to come back and coach next year, and then he's the Dallas Cowboys quarterback in a year's time.
Wait, who is
Oh,
quarterback?
not quarterback, head coach.
No, head coach.
Yeah, not
Yeah, I
quarterback.
think I think that's the writing on the wall,
So,
and the fact that he still has a contract means the Cowboys got to trade for him, which is what I'm sure the Saints want, and that's why they can continue to let it play out this way. Um, but yeah, I do not want to be a part of the Saints rebuild process. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how they handle this offseason. Like, Kamara is likely on the block. Marcus
I think.
Davenport's likely on the block.
Oh, I
Malcolm
think they.
Jenkins is likely on the block.
Oh yeah, like Cam Jordan. Like there's nobody.
Michael Thomas likely on the block.
Oh yeah, Terran Armstead. Like they can't afford, like they have to cut half of those guys anyways. So I mean, you might as well put everybody on the block.
Fire
That
sale.
whole team is up for sale
Everybody's
right now,
free.
which is a Bucks
Come.
fan. So
And if
glad to
I'm the
see this thing.
Texans, I'm going to get. I'm calling. I'm getting Kamara. I'm getting like I'm getting any of these guys.
The last things the Texans should worry about is a goddamn running back.
It's a weapon. It's a weapon.
I don't care. They should not.
You need somebody. You need somebody to put on the
Put
season
your.
ticket.
They need to go. They need to go get Armstead and grab another tackle. They do not. They need an offensive line. They need quarterbacks. They do not need to be trading for running backs. They have
I
spent
think
way too much.
I think you need to give Mills some weapons.
Davis Mills should not be their quarterback next year. I know they only like there's only so many options. It's not like and Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers are not going to be on the table. Like their best bet is probably Jimmy G.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would say that would be their only choice to go get Jimmy G. It's crazy. What happens if like right now with everything that's gone down, if Rodgers or there's talks about like Brady going and playing for a different team this year. I don't think that's going to happen. But I will say this, if Tom Brady was with the San Francisco 49ers right now, holy fuck, I would be saying that's like the Super Bowl favorite team because even if they had half decent QB play, not like the GOAT on their team. So if that happened, but then again, like you're delaying Trey Lance, what are you giving
Mm-hmm.
up? Like the Bucks aren't just going to let him walk. Like you're going to have to trade for him. Like they don't have a first round pick. I mean, I don't see that happening. But if Aaron Rodgers was like, I'm gonna go play for the Niners, they don't have anything to trade for him. But like, what would they do? What do? Do you say now we're gonna stick with Trey Lance? Like, or do you then go like, what is it gonna take? I don't know what that would take, especially
I
with
mean,
Rodgers at this.
Trey Lance doesn't earned anything
But two first
necessarily.
round
Like,
picks, like you're not just gonna give up on it like that, you know?
I don't think they're giving up on him. I think they're developing him. I mean, he's got quite a bit to learn
But
from a
how
quarterback
long is he
standpoint.
going to go without stepping on the field, Like actually getting those reps. The longer he goes without reps, I think the worse it's going to be. So,
I just think it's kind of telling that he's not getting snaps right now.
I think Rodgers is heading to Denver. I mean the writing's on the wall. If it's not
I just think that's so risky from Rodgers' standpoint, like leaving the NFC to go into the toughest division from a quarterback standpoint. Like you're going right into the difficulties. Like I don't know. I would try to stay in the NFC if I was him.
you say that just cuz you don't want to have to see him twice a year.
I would love to. You kidding me? I haven't seen a Rodgers versus Mahomes yet. I would love to watch that twice a year.
Who would not?
But
I mean,
right, I think everybody wins besides the Chargers.
I
And the Raiders. Raiders, I mean, if Rodgers comes to the division, I think you have to look into selling Carr for whatever you can to start the rebuild. Like
You,
you can't go to war with Carr against Herbert, Rodgers, and Mahomes. Yeah,
but they're not getting unless it's Aaron up to upgrade to Aaron Rodgers. There's no fucking way they're getting rid of him. Like they're not gonna fire sell this team when this team is like, oh, potentially a wide receiver away. Like they just made the playoffs. They just made the playoffs. Worst year of this franchise's like history, basically, and they made the playoffs. You know,
they should keep Bisaccia.
they should have, but he's already been hired on as what the Bears special teams.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yep, he's gone.
He's with Eberflus.
What's that?
He's with Eberflus.
Yeah,
Eberflus.
I think that's who I seen. But I mean,
interesting. Watch out for
the Raiders. The Raiders could realistically go get Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. Like they could make that shit happen. I'm looking at it right now. They already got 21 million. Getting rid of Corey Littleton, which is guaranteed to happen. That's at 36 million now. Like they could free up some cap. They could go get it. Idiots fucking paying fucking Kenyon Drake 8.2 million this year. What idiots. What idiots. Yeah, Carl Nassib's at 9 mil. Guaranteed money is 0. Yeah, I'm liking this. I don't know. It could happen.
We'll see how these next days play out.
Again, we've got a whole off season to talk about off season stuff. My mind goes crazy. So
for sure.
Let's wrap this on up. You got
How about
the Chiefs?
this? Just give me this one. Who's the last team to fill their offense or fill their coaching spot?
Last team?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, damn. Probably the Saints, I think.
Yeah, I think it is the Saints.
It's just
Finding
it's the worst spot.
They're gonna have to find a David Foley. They're gonna have to find someone to just come in and
they're gonna have to find a fall
usher
guy.
in the rebuild.
It's gonna be a fall guy, and then they'll fire him.
It might be Coley. They might just need to hire Coley.
Hey, you want to come get hired for a year? We'll fire your ass.
Yeah. You want to make a bunch of money again?
The Dennis Allen has been the big one there.
Yeah, he's a DC.
Yeah, he's their current DC, and then they talked about even bringing in their old DC and hiring him. It's basically trying to keep the thing somewhat in house because
Greg Williams.
No, not Greg Williams. I don't think he'll ever get. It was the in between Dennis Allen and Greg Williams. But yeah, I don't know. I would say between that one and the Texans. Texans just because of how bad it's been, how bad the GM and just like the overall has been. But then who wants to go coach Daniel Jones? Like,
well, if it's Brian Flores, it looks like they're going to try to get Deshaun.
Oh, is that what
they have 2 top 10 picks?
Well, all right, let's put it this way. Ownership has come out and said that Daniel Jones is their guy for next year. That's what's been said. If Brian Flores is homeboys with Deshaun Watson and continues to want Deshaun Watson, wherever he goes is going to be the front runner to go get Deshaun Watson, but where is that going to be? Because, again, I look at it. Obviously, the Texans are out. They're not going to have Deshaun Watson. Saints can't afford Deshaun Watson. Minnesota could be getting rid of what's his name? That could be out there. Miami's off the table now.
Broncos.
You could say Broncos, you could say Steelers. I mean, there's a lot of teams are going to need quarterbacks. I don't think anybody's going to the Panthers. Colts are another team. Like, I don't think they trust Wentz at all, which is crazy because they just spent a first-round pick on him. Ugh, poor bastards.
The ultimate Carson Wentz experience. Ugh. Yeah. It'll be fun.
Falcons are going to need a quarterback. Are going to be looking for a quarterback. I think they'll probably try to draft one.
Who's this?
Falcons.
Yeah, they should have started the rebuild last year. But they won. They won more games than I thought they would.
Washington's going to need a quarterback. Like,
The Commanders, you see that?
Was it Commanders or Admirals?
Uh,
I thought it was Admirals.
Twitter seems to think it's Commanders. The
Both
Washington Commies.
stupid names. Both stupid. Red Wolves was the only good one.
Seems like a hockey team, though.
The Wolves?
The Red Wolves.
I mean, Timberwolves is basketball, but I don't know. I think it's stupid. I think it's so stupid. Commanders or Admirals, either of them. Like anything that has to do with like being in charge. That is dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Lions are stuck with freaking what's his name? That's not gonna happen. Browns could be another one. They could go try and grab a quarterback this year. So much
It's gonna be
turmoil.
fun.
Cannot wait, but I'm about to die. This is the most I've done physically, like a week. So
Well,
let's wrap this on up,
I,
sir.
I'm glad you were able to be a part of it. I had a great time.
Me
Looking forward to
too.
this weekend.
Me too. Me too. Sunday. Oh, what a day. What a day. Thank you for tuning into the Blitz Breakdown, presented by Blitzlytics.com, where scouting meets analytics, and you meet the next crop of off-field talent. Damn, that's the first time I've ever got that one wrong. Also, big
Yeah,
shout out to our sponsors,
you
Key
need some
City
nails with
Brewing.
that.
Yeah, I know, dude. That's how bad it is. Big shout out to our sponsor, Key City Brewing. Drink, Rebel, Repeat. Uh, Blitz out.
Later.
That's all I got.